Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. So, was not able to come back in all weekend long. Super cold weather, you know, stuff was going on. Wasn't able to make it here, which was annoying, but I'm here now. And I've listened back to the take. I didn't even listen to it the whole weekend long because when I left here Thursday or Friday, I can't remember which day that was, I felt like I had a pretty good take. Sorry, I'm cold in here today. And so I thought I had a pretty good take. So I was, you know, excited just to get in here and confirm that. One of the things I was worried about is right where the break happens. The song's like 3 minutes long or something like that, but 3 something. And around the 2 something mark, there's that little moment where the first part of the song ends and then it goes into the little outro bit. And when I ended the song, I thought that I heard the heater already on. But I think what happened was like as soon as I ended the song and got the headphones off, the heater clicked on. Because I do not hear it. In the mix with headphones on, listening carefully, is there any moment where I hear boo, you know, like the sound of the heater kicking in and the extra ambient noise that would, you know, provide? Probably ruin my take. And if it's there, you can't hear it enough to where, I mean, it's going to get buried even further with guitars and vocal and bass, whatever. But it was a good day. It was a good way to show how much, you know, it takes for me to get a take. You know, which is the way I do it. A lot of people out there in Zoom land could probably do a better job of cutting and pasting things. And if I was in a major hurry and I had to do a bunch of drums, I might get into that. But the way I do it is just like, for starters, the drumming is not going to be, none of my instrumentation is going to be captured at the Toto level anyway. You know, this isn't like a Steely Dan thing. You know, so I'm just getting through the takes and getting the right energy together. And so I think that was there. It's not perfect or anything like that, but you know, that's not really, it's not going to happen anyway. So what I try to do is keep the spontaneity together by not chopping it all up and, you know, beating it down, processing it, or just playing bits and pieces and trying to cut it together into something usable. I'd rather keep the live vibe going by playing one take. I mean, it's just what I've discovered with the one-man band thing, because if you have a whole band together, you get that push and pull, the sway, you know, the inner relationship between the musicians working together, you know, you get that sort of tug of war and push-pull, and you know, sometimes people will get an idea right on the spot. It'll be so, you know, amazing, like interacting with each other musically. And you don't get that when you're by yourself, you know. So in order to keep it from sounding like a guy just sits there and adds one instrument at a time, which is exactly what I'm doing, I try not to perfect things too much, you know, like obviously, as you can see, this is not perfection anyway. But I'm trying not, I don't usually record things in a way where it's like altered a lot. I try to just bash it out. So it was a lot of work. I noticed when I got home, I'll get my hand closer to the camera in a minute, but I noticed when I got home that I had these calluses. It was like these 3 calluses, one here in the middle of the hand, and these 2 blisters here that formed. They're like, you know, blood blisters. So if I just wait long enough so that those are tough enough, and then I can play on them, I can build up some nice calluses, because I've got 2 more songs to record, like back to back. I want to finish this, get to the guitars, you know, get this song wrapped, and then get that next one together. And then I've got another one. I got one that I've been working on forever, and I finally got it right. I mean, I'm talking about since I was like 22 or 3. I can't remember how old I was when I started working on this tune. Now it's finally going to come to fruition. And then another song that's brand new, and I haven't even gone back and listened to it. I just wrote it real quick one night, recorded it on Audacity, you know, just sitting on the bed, and it's rough, but I got like at least 2 parts down, maybe 3. I can't remember. I have to, like I said, I have to go and listen to it. So then I'm going to piece that one together and hope to write 2 more, and then this thing is wrapped. So I'm trying to get on this roll here, get this all done, you know, quickly. I'm tired of dragging it out, but I had to write it, you know, so it's a little different from like having 10 songs go in and record. All right, so my new computer is here, which is like so amazing. Oh man, that M1 chip in that thing, I'm telling you, it's like a whole new world. I can't believe the energy savings you get. Like, you can run forever on a battery, which is amazing because the laptop is supposed to run on a battery. And my Macs that I've had over the years that were older, running the Intel chip, you had to plug them in a lot to keep them going, especially as they got older. The battery started going down. And this thing, man, wow, it is just something else. And so I'm super stoked about the first time ever connecting the Zoom to it. So if you've never, what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to just do the light bit of post-production I do on my drum bit. I'll play back the track for you so you can hear what's happening, and then I usually just bring it into the computer, which I've never done before. I'm going to run a quick time movie so I can show you what I'm looking at the same time. That would be a good way to try out the new computer and let you see what it looks like. Because if you're in the market for one of these things, man, I'm telling you, you cannot beat it. Oh my Lord. So I'm so excited. It's made my life so much easier, my photography life, my music life. All of it is, you know, improved exponentially since the purchase of this laptop. All right, so what I do is I drag it in, and I'm just going to take an Audacity, high pass the drums. I usually high pass the drums not as much as I do other stuff. Like guitars, I'll do it all the way down to 100 hertz. With the drums, I might go only to like 30, just to clean up some of that real low bass that's floating around, especially in a room like this. But man, I'm really liking the way these drums sound. I'll let you hear and decide. So why don't we do that first? I'm going to play it back, and then I'll show you how to do the computer work. All right, so here we go. And I'll tell you really quickly how I'm achieving the playback I'm achieving, because it actually sounds better than it did when I recorded it. And I like to do this almost any time I'm going to play back to the camera, or if I'm playing back for myself, just for my own ears. And that is to run it through the mastering effect. So even when you're playing back, it's just going to be better all the way around. Now the one thing you have to remember, you got to get that fader down before you start anything. Don't start it with your fader at unity gain at 0. You'll blast your ears, especially anywhere, on a speakers or headphones. I mean, it may not blast if it's not something really loud, but these drums all the way up in this mastering mode. Okay, so I'm going to pull that way down to negative territory, because we can always work our way up to the level that we want. All right, so what you do to play back these drums. So what I did, I recorded 4 tracks. 2 overheads, bass drum, snare drum, and the first 4 channel strips, all right? And they're sitting there now in playback mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to effect. And then you're going to go, wait, let me just turn off the effect so I can see what it looks like for you. All right, so you go to insert effect, and you hit effect. You'll see insert effect, on, off. Turn your wheel to the right. That will give you on. Then go down to algorithm, and you spin around a few times until you get to mastering. Mastering. All right, now, once mastering happens, you're going to go down to edit, and you're going to hit edit, and then I'm going to start editing the settings so that they sound the way I want them to. I did this before when I was listening to the drums, and I've kind of got memorized settings anyway of like what I like to do, especially when it's still in drum mode. That could change once the rest of the song comes together. All right, so now we're at the 3-band compressor. I've got the crossover is low at 50, crossover high is at 50. I just leave that. You can mess around with that if you want, but that seems to be about right for me. All right, so the high, sense high, I'm going to go to 5. The mid, I'm going to go down to 5 from 6. And the low, I'm going to go all the way down to 5. I don't get that, because from my bass drum on that 10, I mean, it's like blows the world apart. So that goes all the way down to 5. It could even go down further for some situations. And then the mix high, I'm going to just go 5, 5, 5 here again. I don't always do that. Sometimes I go 2, 0, 2 for some reason. Then the normalizer, that's 1 screen over. I'm going to go down to 0. I don't like to have extra gain. Now the bass on the 3-band EQ, oh shoot, I don't know. I'm going to just put everything at 5, 5, 5. This will change, but at least we'll have a setting that you can play with too, just knowing that. I take all the dimension, room noise thing off. The noise, then at the patch level, I leave that at 24, but you can mess around. 24 just seems right. And then there's like some kind of like Dolby copy noise reduction deal that's at 1. Roll that to off. No need for that. All right, so noise reduction in rock and roll. Just kidding. No, that has a place or whatever, but noise reduction to me starts sounding like there's artifacts and just weirdness. I'd rather just record quieter than have something going, a limiter or something going on that's doing something that I don't want. All right, so that's my mastering settings. Now watch this. I'm going to hit play, and you'll hear it come up, and then we can start adjusting the volume. I've got all the levels pretty, like at 0 as far as the channels go. So everything recorded at a good level. Here it is. You can hear it. So I got the levels on. So that's cranked way up and I don't hear any heater noise. That's good. I don't hear any of that heater noise I was so worried about. So that's excellent. It sounds big, and I love that little bit at the end where I kind of hesitated and stuttered. I was like at the very almost the last step. See if I can find it. I'd make a mistake as far as as far as playing the pattern that I want to play, but I really like the little goof up. Coming out. right there. It goes do da do da instead of the usual thing I do right there, which is a slight change. And it sounds like I'm getting ready to end the song, so I like it. Watch, here it is. Sounds like I meant to do it, even though I did it. I mean, I don't think anybody would like notice that, so I left it in because I think it's kind of cool. All right, so that is the drum take, and it's a good take. At least it is in my estimation. You may be at home cringing like, wow, I can't believe he's going to use that as his drum take. But for what I'm doing, I like it. All right, so I am now going to start the post-production work, which I said, like I said before, is minimal. But I want to show you what I do. All right, if you've done the, because you can do much more at home. Obviously, you can use your own software, whatever you want to use. Like they use Cubase with this. I looked at that like once, and I was like, eh. And then they other people use Reaper, which I've heard is really good, and you know, whatever, Logic Pro if you're Mac. They all just seem overly complex to me, and I basically want to stay in the Zoom. If there's a way to do it in the Zoom, I wouldn't fool with the computer. But I like to do that high pass. Sometimes noise reduction. I can silence the in between spaces like you would if you had a proper what do you call it? The thing that's the limiter, where I'm forgetting. It's like a setting that we used to put on the mic. Forgot what it's called. And when you weren't talking, it would turn off, or when you weren't making sound, so that you didn't have the mic on the whole time. And the guy didn't have to go in and try to scrub that. I forget what it's called. So anyway, I do that by just cleaning it up, digitally. All right, so I have to add this little dongle, this little USB dongle thing, which I only have one. I need to get a couple of those so I can plug in more than one USB at a time. But anyway, I come out of the USB here, and I'm going to go into the MacBook, which is great because it turns on as soon as you open the thing. It just is like, boom, it's there. Okay, now we'll connect with I don't need a preferred network, so you can just go away. All right, before I start anything, I am going to plug this in to the Mac, and then I'm going to turn on QuickTime so I can video this entire operation and put it on the screen, so you won't have to look at my ugly mug. You'll be able to see what it is I did. All right, new screen recording. Okay, after a bunch of back and forth, I figured out how to use this the way I used to. It's just a little different. Audacity's changed, the system has changed, everything's different. I'm on that M1 chip, so everything's just behaving differently. Mainly the interface. I'm so done with this stuff that I have to have it like work this certain way, and I just follow that same path every time. So it just took me a minute here to rethink it. But you just punch in the amount of hertz you want to cut on the high pass, which is the main thing I'm doing on this. I mean, it's very subtle what I do. It's almost not even needed, but I'm going to go ahead and do it, just show you how to do it, because you might do much more post-production work than what I'm doing, and you might need to, and this will give you an opportunity to see how it's done. Very simple. Okay, so all we do is we plug in the proprietary USB cable with one end here, and then I've got this MacBook Pro dongle thing, so it goes into this, because these have that lightning connection or whatever they call it. All right, so I don't need the headphones anymore. I'll take those out. And then what I do is I'm going to use Audacity. So first, we're going to have to make the computer communicate with the Zoom. So I've got everything plugged in. Everything's good there. The computer's on. I'm going to go to USB, and we'll go to Reader. And I've already got it on Reader. It's the middle one. You just hit Reader. And it should start connecting. Oh, wait, shoot. I meant to turn on hold on, I'll exit. Whoa, don't do that. Okay, first I'm going to turn on the QuickTime program so that you can see what I'm doing here. Alright, so we'll turn on QuickTime. We're going to do a screen recording. Options, make sure that it saves in the right spot. Documents, we're going to record the entire screen. I hit record, off and running. Alright, now we're going to go to USB, hit Reader, should see it connect here. The icon should pop up. Yes, indeed. Alright, so I'm going to go to El Dorado Project Eldorado, where are you? Misspelled Eldorado. Okay, so I know that it's the last 4 tracks because these would be the test tracks that I did, the scratch guitar and the vocals. Okay, so I'm going to go to 3 and just bring it over here to Audacity. Let me wake this up there. That's what I like to do. It's just the easiest way to get it in there. Alright, so this will be the snare drum. We'll just listen to it real quick to make sure everything's okay. Alright, so play. I'm liking the way that sounds. Okay, so I hit stop. Now, I use Command A to select the entire track. It used to be it was already selected, but now you got to hit Command A. I'm going to go to Effect and come down to this high pass filter, meaning we want the high to pass through, not so much of the low. And I've got it all the way down to 30, which is just barely any. Maybe I'll take it to 40. I don't think most people can hear down that far with their systems. And then I'm going to hit OK, and you can see it doesn't really make a big change. I'm going to play it back to make sure no weirdness occurred. So it just cleans up some of the junk. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is just reduce the overall volume because it's peaked a little bit. Alright, so we'll go to Amplify, and we're going to say, let's go minus 3.0 just to see if that gets us. Oh, that's way too much. Okay, so let's get rid of that. I'll just come off 1 dB. How about that? Oh shoot, no wonder, I hit the wrong thing. Let me do that again. 3.0. No, it still did the same amount, so let me do that, undo that, and then we'll go back to Amplify and make that, let's say it's minus 1.2. Maybe minus 1.5. That should give us the good. Okay, so now the peaks are better. Still sounds normal. And then after that, there's nothing else to do for me. So now I'm going to export this track as a wave, obviously. Okay, we've got wave Microsoft. We got to make sure it's 16-bit. That's, yeah, signed 16-bit PCM. And the reason I have to make sure it's 16-bit is because the zoom is 16-bit. And if you save it in 24, it'll literally not play it back because it has effects on it. If it did not have, somebody mentioned you can record in 24-bit, and that is true, but you have to decide that you're not going to use the effects because it has to be 44.1 in there. All right, so to use the effects. Okay, so I'm going to just type in a caps lock snare. That's the snare. And we'll call it snare 1, you know, because I always double these to get more of a robust drum tone. Just, I don't know, the preamps just aren't as, you know, they don't bring it in as much as I'd like, so I have to double it up. All right, so I'm going to save it on in Documents. That's good. I could put it in a special folder, but for now I'm just going to not worry about that and go to this instead and just save. All right, everything's okay there. Now, that was track 3. I'm going to, yeah, so I'm going to just kill this. I don't need to save this. No, I don't need. All right, so now, take number 4. Let's take that over to Audacity. And 4 will be the other snare that was recorded with the overhead ribbon mic. This one's not as loud. So yeah, this one I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going to amplify. Everything's good with it. Okay, so wait, let's do the Command A. And then we're going to go to the cut, the high pass. And I'm going to just leave it at 40 just because that's what we've done so far with the bass. Good, beautiful. All right, now I'm going to go back to there, go Amplify. And we're going to amplify, let's make it minus 1.5. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to export this one. Export as a wave. We don't need all this extra. Okay, signed 16-bit. Oh wait, I need to name it. We're going to call this overhead left. So I call that OH left 1. OH left 1, save. Okay, metadata tags, I don't really fill anything in there. I'm going to kill this one. It's going to ask, and I'm going to say no, I don't need to save the project itself, just the track. Now I'm going to the third track, which is the other, this is like the bass, the other side of the drum kit. It's the other overhead. Glenn Johns method. Alright, so this one looks good. Sounds fine. So I'm going to hit Command A, go to Effects, and we're going to first high pass this baby. Same thing, hit OK. Just a minor adjustment to pull some of that junk out so that it doesn't start getting thick. Now I can always change this later if I want to, but usually I find that if I leave plenty of lower bass in the bass drum, the rest of it sounds better when you cut it a little. It just starts building up the garbage. Okay, so my new peak amplification, I'm going to go minus 1.5 as well, because this isn't too big. Yeah, it's perfect. Sounding good. Okay, so I'm going to now export this as a wave, just like I have in the past. The other, this is the, oh shoot, cancel. Let's do that again. I forgot to name it. That's dumb. Everything's a little, I'm a little off with everything because it all looks so different. If you've watched any of my videos, you can tell how different this looks. Okay, so this is overhead right 2. So it's the other that we got. If we're facing the camera and we got the kit in front of us, overhead left is this one, overhead right is that one, and then the bass and snare. Okay, everything's good here. Let's kill this. And you're probably watching at home cringing because there's probably a million better ways to do this, like the way I'm moving things around, but you know, this is my goofy workflow. Alright, so let's play the bass drum back, make sure it's all good. Okay, I don't want to cut this one as much. I'm going to bring this one back up to 40. Oh wait, so first we want to Command A. That chooses the track. Go to Effect. I'm going to go high pass, but this time I'm going to change it to 30. So I want to get a little bit more boom. Alright, and then we're going to go to Amplify, and I'll say, man, I should have recorded that a little hotter. But everything sounds good. Would like it to be hotter, but it sounds good. And that's beautiful. Alright, so now we're going to export this one. And this is going to be bass drum 1. I hope I put a 1 on that last one. I can't remember if I did or not. Alright, so now we'll quit there. No, I don't want to save the changes. Now, this can go bye-bye. Oh, wait, no, it can't go bye-bye. We got to put the stuff in there. Alright, so let me start a new video for that. Oh, it doesn't matter. I can just go do it. Alright, so in Documents, there it is, bass drum wave. Oh, it's just gonna, this isn't the best way to do this. I'm gonna take this out. Next time I'll save these to the desktop. Sorry, this is taking forever. Okay. Okay, so now, and like I said, somebody out there is probably going to say this is the dumbest way to do this, and it probably is. Okay, so now we go back to the zoom. Let me just move this out of the way. And we are going to drag these into the zoom. So I'll open up the audio thing, and I'll just drag them in, because these are our new tracks. Darn, I didn't get the snare. Oh, there it is. Duh. Okay, here we put the snare in there too. So this might take a second, but way less time than it used to. I don't know if you remember how long this used to take. These are pretty big files, and if they were 24-bit, they'd be double this. So like it's 20 megabytes for the snare. That'd be 40 if it was 24-bit. It's usually about double in size, I've noticed, when you go up to 24-bit. Okay, now, the next thing I do, I'm going to rename this snare 2, drag it in. I'm going to rename this one bass drum 2 and drag it in. I'll rename this one you hit the wrong thing, and off and running you go with this Maple. I'm still trying to get used to the cursor and like the trackpad. That's misspelled. Overhead. Oh no, it's not. It's a different one. Okay, overhead right 2. We got. Wait, do I? Stop. Overhead right. Wait. Somehow I didn't get overhead right in there. The first one. Oh boy. Turn that to 1. I'm sorry. Let's turn that to 1. Overhead right 1. Okay. So now we have snare 1, snare 2, overhead right 1, overhead right 2, overhead left 1, overhead left 2. So we should have 8 tracks. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now we take this baby. Oh wait, first I'm going to just take all this. It's taking me a minute to get used to this. Let me just put them together here. Sorry. Okay, and I'm going to drag it over to the trash. Alright. Then this baby goes to the trash, because see, now we have everything in there that we want it to. Now eject. Then once you make sure you eject it on the computer first. Then you go to here, card reader exit, terminate. I go up to yes, hit yes. Wait for it to fully terminate, because I don't want to mess up my data on the computer or on the machine. And that's happened a time or two. Not with the Zoom, but just with hard drives and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to unplug this. And now, what I do next, oh, and I got to go up to here to stop this video. Awesome. 13-minute video. That's cool. It worked. So sorry if this video was a little exploratory. I wasn't quite ready for making this in order to teach someone, because I was trying to learn myself. Right. So that goes back in there. And next thing I do is I'm going to come here to the Zoom, and I'm going to start placing these tracks in, where I want them, and I'm going to put them in the last 4. We're going to go to 1724 up here on the the button, the rows, and we're going to start assigning tracks. So I hit track, then I go to track 17, and you'll see it's a new take. So I'm going to hit file, and then I'm going to hit I'm going to go through, and I'm going to put the snare drum there first. So snare 1 is in track 17, so just think of that as track 1. That's snare 1. Then I'm going to take the arrow over, new take, hit the button, bass drum snare 1. Sorry, I got off track. Okay, so that's going to be snare 2. Then the next one is going to be overhead right 1, so it's that one. Next one is overhead right 2. The next one's going to be overhead right, oh shoot, that should have been overhead left. That's why I just want to make it the same as the orientation of the player. Some people flip it and it's the orientation of the listener. I prefer it to be the player's orientation. It just makes more sense to me. Like when you play air drums, you're playing as if you're, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, so overhead left 2. Next one is going to be overhead right 1. Next one is going to be overhead right 2. Because remember, I do everything double on drums. Guitars too, pretty much everything. I have to add another one, or it just sounds weak. I guess because it's a loud rock thing, and these pre's are not like the most robust in the world. And now we're down to bass drum, and I went the wrong way, so I have to goof around and find it. There's bass drum 1, track 24. My last track is now bass drum 2. All right, so now let's hear this back. I'm going to go to now, and I'm also going to go back to 1. Let me go to track, the first row, number 1, and now I'm going to make those new takes because that's where we're going to go next for our guitars, and I don't want those to still have the drums on them or make a mistake and record over them. That would be a nightmare because I would like to always have the originals to go back to. If I need to redo something, I'm not going to go to the Audacity version that I high passed. I'm going to go and normal, reduced and everything. I'm going to go to the original mono track that I recorded. So that's how that works. Okay, so these are all new. Oh wait, I need to do this all the way across the board because there was those guitars too. That, yeah, the track 7 had a. Actually, I'm going to leave those on there because they might have guides like the 1, 2, 3, 4s and stuff. Because I didn't click off on that break part. All right, so now let's just play it back and see what happened. Oh wait. Let me put it in mastering mode. So I go to effect. It's in mastering mode. And my settings are still there. I hear a note on that snare. It's like dum 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 dum. Should have made sure there was no weird undertones going on, but it doesn't sound wrong or anything. I'm just trying to figure out what note it is. But notice how much more robust this sounds with the 2 drums and all the little post-production work. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a lot more. Okay, I'm going to make you listen to that all the way through again, but that's sounding good. Let's listen to the very last bit just to make sure that that sounds as powerful as I want it to sound. Excellent. All right, so this was a little tricky for me, but it looks like I'm just back up and running and everything's exactly as it was. It just took me a minute to understand what, the changes in Audacity and just the differences in the computer system and all that. So now I've got to work on the perfect guitar tone for this thing, and that's the next thing I'm going to work on, and then I'm going to lay those tracks down hopefully tomorrow or the next day, like as soon as possible. I just need to get the sound right, and go home and work on actually I don't have to go home and work on anything because I did it here next time.